What is up YouTube, and welcome to the Stand mini-series Ending Explained breakdown, recap and review. Now, over the past 9 weeks, this has been a very divisive series on my channel, and the show went from being a very promising and dark post-apocalyptic drama to an underwhelming and, quite frankly, dull show with tone all over the place and a bunch of characters which, unfortunately, I didn't really care what happened to. If you enjoyed this video, then please do drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. So we pick up after last week where Randall Flagg was blown up along with the rest of his Las Vegas followers by a nuke that was brought by the Trash Can Man, while the Hand of God electrocutes everyone, blows up the followers, and then causes the nuke to explode. Now, Flagg's power started to wane as Larry hit Flagg where it hurts, the belief of his followers where he draws most of his power, a power which we saw him gain at the end of this episode once more. The episode opens with Franny in the aftermath of the rest of Abigail's favourites going to Vegas on a walking trip and ending up dying. I still think that was really weak, as the execution of them stopping Flagg's power was really lame and a bit of a disservice to the characters, but I'm unsure if that is due to the source material or if it is due to the show adapting it very badly. Now, Franny really misses Stu and has no idea if the group succeeded or not, or what the lights were that came from Vegas. She's in this sort of limbo, and she's refused to send a scouting party to find out, mainly because she didn't really want to know what happened and wanted to live in the limbo instead of knowing the absolute worst, as well as the fact that they don't want to lose much manpower. Now, her child, Abigail, has captained trips, but the child thankfully survives, and it seems like the offspring of immune parents do not get captained trips, as we saw a child later not get it, but both of her parents, or his parents, were actually immune. But we see Franny's child here get it, and I imagine that the birth father is not immune, which meant that the child sadly did get it. However, thankfully, the child survived, as Franny is immune there. However, there is a memorial for those lost in the evening, and Franny is trying to live her life and sees Joe with his new family, which I guess there's some sort of resolution for that storyline, which if you remember last week, I was like, hey, okay, I guess we're not going to see what happens to him, or Larry is just going to leave Joe on his own. It's weird as the city seems so idyllic, yet later she wants to leave as the world is seemingly becoming like the old one once more. Now, at the memorial, Stu and Tom do appear, and looks like they have fast travelled to the Boulder Free Zone checkpoint, and I really feel robbed of a return trip of Tom and Stu coming back, and Tom even finding Stu, because I really like Tom Cullen. He really is an interesting and layered character here, and I would have loved to have seen more of him. And I think the show suffered heavily from being only 9 episodes, as it's a series of things that happen instead of understanding the characters. And something which is the strongest part of Stephen King's writing, but it really is missing here. And the fact that they just do things because they're told to by Abigail, well, it just seems weak. Stu seeing the mushroom cloud and Tom helping Stu back would have been a great episode, but for some reason they've decided not to include it. But hey, guess, well, Fran getting out of a well was kind of, more important. Yeah, anyway. We see them kiss and learn the baby's name is Abigail, and we get a shot of the rubble in Las Vegas as the badge that Flagg had there winks, and it hints that he is still around, as we cut to a 4th of July celebration after seeing a beyond creepy mural of Abigail with some children. I know it's supposed to be sweet, but it is pure nightmare fuel and scarier than anything I think King has ever created. This is where the episode gets ridiculous, as Fran would like to go back to Maine for no other reason than there might be some crime in the future, and the city has 500 more people, and more people will turn up. So they decide to head to Maine, a place that, well, many people tried to get to or from, and, well, they almost died getting to Boulder from Maine, or at least Franny did. And they just risk the child so Fran can see the sea. Yeah, anyway. They go to leave in a sad moment as Tom is upset they're leaving and head off on the epic journey back to Maine. But after a while, they decide to stop off after driving 400 miles in Nebraska at a creepy abandoned house as Kojak runs off into the cornfield. I mean, at this point, I'm just watching for the good doggo that is Kojak. We see a creepy doll and a child in the field camping. This is where Abigail is originally from, and the cornfield from the dreams is here. And by the end of the episode, we learn this girl's true identity, as she is actually a reincarnation of Abigail. She's singing the similar songs to Abigail did at the end of the episode, and the next day, Stu goes out to get supplies, leaving Fran alone in another dumb move. Except on the way back, Stu's tyre blows out and Fran decides to try to get the water pump to work. If they are going to stay there, well, I assume they might stay there for a bit, but I don't know why they didn't just go on to their destination, as Stu tries to call her on the radio set to channel 19, 19 being an important number in the Dark Tower series, something that Flag is featured in at one point. And well, conveniently, the whole radio is away from her as Flag appears once more and pushes Fran down the well, or at least manipulates it so that she falls down the well, except she appears on a tropical island with Flag, as he explains how she's dying, and he can make it all go away, and he can make it that Stu dies when changing the tyre. However, he can make it so it doesn't happen. Except it's a trick and she has to kiss him to make it so it doesn't happen. He also shows her a tribe that has been free of normal civilization and untainted, and says how similar tribes would have been killed by missionaries, which here at the end of the episode, well, Flag is. Skarsgård is genius here, as he is simply trying to tempt Fran into making the wrong decision, but she bites him, resisting the temptation of her life being saved instantly, and lands in the cornfield as she sees Mother Abigail, and Abigail explains that this is all cyclical, and it always begins anew, something that Fran was afraid of, and a rationale for leaving the boulder-free zone. However, she needs to be true and stand, speaking the story of Job from the Bible, a man that God let the devil mess with just to prove he will keep his faith. The ultimate dick move by God there. The world will keep turning, as will evil and also good people, as she wakes up in the well, as Stu and the young girl save her, and is healed as the young girl is revealed to be a reborn Abigail. Yes, Stu just let a creepy young girl who came out of nowhere just to save them all, which felt really weird. But Flag was also reborn, just like the epilogue in the book, where Flag takes over the tribe, and he showed Franny as he shows his power, and they worship him, giving him more power as it all begins again. Abigail will be the one who helps the good, as Flag is the personification of evil, and now being the missionary he mentioned earlier, as he reveals his name as Russell Faraday. And his history has very pockmarked with different stories, and he's referenced different historical figures, so it seems this has been cyclical as well as time has gone on. Franny and Stu are living an ideal life in Maine, and all they have to do is be true and stand. And that's it. It's been a wild 9 weeks, and thank you all for sticking with me. The show could have been so much better, but missing the trek across the country proper of each character and lacking any sort of character development hurt it, as Stu and Fran are good people, but I struggled really liking anyone else at all. Harold really stuck with me because that guy actually had some character, even if he was a bad guy. But we don't really care about these people because we didn't really learn anything about them other than that Glenn was a sociology teacher and his wife was dead. That was it. And in the end, what was it all for? Not a lot, as Fran and Stu live an ideal life with the others who died, and for some reason, shows these days have all their action in the penultimate episode, as this felt tacked on and forced. This could have literally been a post-credit scene tacked on last week. Even the vision of Abigail and the flag scene, which was the true highlight of this episode, could have ended the show instead of this 42-minute odd glorified post-credit scene. And does anyone else kind of dislike Abigail? She's forced people to do things off kind of out of manipulation and saying, you know, it's God's will, go on, yeah, do it. And letting people die for religion's sake. And, well, is it so she can be reborn again? I get the idea that violence is generational and cyclical, but I don't think anyone came out likable from this. With the new ending of the reborn Abigail and Fran down the well, I get it, I kind of understand it, but the execution just felt pretty lame, and we missed out so much. We didn't really see Tom and Stu return, and we didn't see any of Nick's flashbacks with Tom really at all, who was possibly one of the most interesting characters. But again, we just have Stu and Fran, who at the end of the day, I didn't really like, to be honest, because they just had everything handed to them on a plate. But I guess moving forward, we will see Flag return, and we will see Abigail have to fight him again as it keeps going on and on. But that is it for this video. Please do drop a like down below. Please do subscribe with notifications on. I'll be back tomorrow with a WandaVision video, and I'll see you soon. Stay safe, hug your mother, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.